I'm WFTV Channel 9 anchor and investigative reporter Daralene Jones, based here in Orlando, Florida. Many of you have followed my extensive reporting, Goliath Falls, which is a series of reports that focus on my exclusive interview with Chris Delgado, the former CEO of Goliath Ventures. It's about 7 hours total, recorded over several weeks in the weeks after he was arrested and placed on home confinement. In May, just 4 days after our first story aired, we received a federal subpoena for that video of that interview, which is not protected by reporter privilege. We are posting the interview here on YouTube so that you can also see it. During my interview, Chris Delgado made a lot of accusations against some of the people who worked for Goliath Ventures and some high-profile people he was connected with in the Central Florida community. I have been in contact with attorneys representing some of those who Delgado made allegations against. So far, none of them have been charged with any crime. So without independent confirmation of the allegations, we here at Eyewitness News made the ethical journalistic decision not to name them at this time. It is important for you all to know that in journalism, we are held to a much higher standard than bloggers and social media enthusiasts who may post content on their platforms with a less stringent verification process. We will continue with our diligent reporting to verify the facts in this important ongoing federal case. And we will update this site and all of our WFTV platforms with the latest information as we do so. What do you have, Carrie?
Nice octopus table.
Oh my.
That was in my original cigar room.
What were you going to do here?
This was just going to be more like a social hangout, more like a more formal living room. We were going to redo the couches, the fireplace. That's a new dining room table. Just kind of make this more of a formal sit-down room.
You're going to leave it packed up?
I don't even know how to put it together or if I have all the pieces, to be honest with you.
Why? What happened?
I mean, everything kind of everything. My focus when this was starting, the company was falling apart and we were bleeding money. So I didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to continue the remodeling because I was paying our investors. Not only that, we had this Christmas party to put on.
At the Four Seasons.
No, this one was at the Fontainebleau.
Oh, in Miami.
Yeah, in Miami. Yeah. And we still had a very big outstanding bill to pay for that. So the company was bleeding a lot of money now at this time, and I didn't have the funds to continue this.
Wow. Why did you choose the name Goliath?
I wanted a name that when you heard the name, it was bigger than you. Everyone knows the biblical story of Goliath. He was the conqueror of nations. He was a one-man army. And any village or any nation he went into, he took over. And people trembled at the name of Goliath. And that's what I wanted. I wanted people to hear Goliath and know we were so big that you wouldn't either dare to cross us or you would join us. My dad actually brought up the name when I first moved him from California to Florida. And maybe this is where I Icarus myself, but he said, you know how Goliath ended. And I told him, yes, but it was only by a miracle of God that David took down Goliath. I didn't know I had a whole city coming for my throat.
Goliath Falls.
again. It's why we had to change so many things down the line, because as things started popping up and I became made aware, we had to make changes. So that's why we put the 100K minimum. That's why we put you had to be an accredited investor. That's why we changed the contracts. That's why we made so many different changes, because we needed to stop what people were doing out of my supervision.
What's the retirement plan?
He had architected a way to move retirement money, qualified retirement money, out of a retirement account and into Goliath.
So if I had a pension or 401k, then I could...
He had built a vehicle for you to remove that money tax-free before, what is it, 59 and a half, to then move it into Goliath.
How?
He was the architect. We did, what I was aware of, or what I knew was, we had relationships with a company called Madison Trust, and there was another company that was basically the inner workings of how this money can move. But it wasn't a simple, from my understanding, even when the money had to move back out of Goliath, it wasn't a direct wire. That would have been a tax event. So it had to move in a specific way back into your pocket.
Where's Madison Trust based?
I believe New York City.
So then the firefighters and nurses, who formulated that plan?
Again, this was all oversaw by Nick. He was overseeing the directors. So whoever the directors were talking to, whoever they were having conversations with, this is where those people came from. So we had 12, 13 directors in our company, and they're talking to their friends and their families and their friends of friends and stuff like that. So, eventually you're going to talk to firefighters, policemen, teachers, nurses, whoever it might be.
So whatever vehicle Nick created to circumvent how pulling your 401k, your pension, whatever out, that wasn't legal.
It was legal, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a legal instrument. We're using a specific bank.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
To move and structure. So the money would move into a qualified LLC.
Got it.
The LLC
Okay.
would go into the Madison Trust Bank, and Madison Trust would then allocate the money to us. So it was a legal movement of funds. What I'm saying was, these weren't my ideas. I wasn't pushing for these things. I wasn't trying to find more money. The people pushing these things were the ones that had alternative motives in this whole thing. They were the ones pushing to tap into 401ks. They were the ones pushing to get more books of business. They were the ones pushing to have firefighters and other people come in, because they were getting the override on how much money was coming into Goliath.
Because they were getting their percentage.
Correct.
Based on. I am just stunned that someone would drain their 401k, their pension, whatever, and bet on this fund.
Well, you have to think, it's a new technology, crypto, the whole industry. It's an unknown. People don't really know about it, don't know how it works. So then in the unknown, you have unlimited possibilities. When you know how something works, indefinite, and you veer outside of that, they can always say, no. This system has worked for 50 years. We know what it produces. We know how it runs. When you go into an unknown possibility, then a return or the possibilities then become unknown. So yes, they, in a traditional retirement, they knew what the returns were, and they're garbage, but they knew they were garbage, and they knew that's what they could get. But if you could move it into a new technology, well, is the possibility really there?
Man. Did I see everything?
We can walk outside if you want. In the
Get hit
backyard.
by a golf ball.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one shot at this window yet.
Well, what would be the point?
I mean, look how many golf balls I have in my yard. What's that point?
Did you see those when they came in, like the golf balls?
I've only been in the backyard twice when I've heard golf balls land in my yard. One landed in the pool. That's how I heard it. And then one hit a tree.
There's a lot out there.
Yeah. It's definitely purposeful.
Over a dozen.
Yeah.
Maybe 20.
You think somebody's intentionally?
For sure.
What would be
I
the
bought
purpose?
this house and I had 2 golf balls in my yard. Then all this stuff comes out months later, and now I have 20 golf balls in my yard a day. And they're expensive golf balls. So unless Islesworth moved to amateur hour and is opened up as a public course so anyone can play on it, then they're definitely intentional.
That's crazy. And that's just one pile.
Yeah, there's 3.
Oh my gosh.
And then whatever my lawn guy picks up, I have no idea.
That's crazy. I gotta look at my notes.
How
were you?
Yeah, no, I was investing in crypto projects.
Oh.
I invested into one project. I put 20 grand in. When it launched, I made $2 million.
In what period of time?
An hour?
Is that how fast crypto works?
It can, yeah.
Really?
Before the ETFs and all these big institutions stepped in, yeah, crypto was the Wild West. You put 15, 20, 30. My friend put 10 grand into a coin. It launched and it went up to $900,000.
So how do you get this converted back to real money?
So all you do is you change it back into a stable coin and then move it to a centralized exchange like Binance or Coinbase, and then you can sell it there and then move the cash to your bank. It's a industry at the time that had zero oversight and zero regulation. So your traditional pump and dump stocks that were happening during the early stock market developments and the dot-coms and all that kind of stuff was the same thing happening in crypto. You know, you had a new entity, a new token, a new tech launch by some developer in Pakistan or India or God knows where. It's zero oversight. So you have all this liquidity driving in the market, pumping these coins, and they're getting
I'm sorry, I don't want to be poor again. I'm not risking.
They're called meme coins for a reason, because they would get so much traction on making fun of things, you know. Dogecoin was a race car driver's idea to just put a random dog on his side of his car. And they launched Dogecoin. And now it has one of the largest trading volumes on the market. It's like 3 billion plus of trading volume. It's bigger than some of these Fortune 500 companies.
That's the only one I have. Is
You have this stuff?
Shiba.
You're into this crypto?
I was like 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
I missed out on Shiba. I had bought 10 grand worth of Shiba when it was worth nothing. 0.000000 whatever. And I sat on it, and I think I was going to go take a vacation. So I was like, I can just use the 10 grand because it's not doing anything there. I sell it. And then I think 2 months later, it goes up 900% or some ridiculous number. It would have been like $19 million if I had.
Not.
Are you allowed to trade now?
I'm allowed to do whatever I want that doesn't have Goliath involvement or involves any of my current investors.
Did you guys have a plan for a Goliath coin at any point?
No, we always told people that if we launched a token or a coin, that to pull all your money out. People wanted it though. We created this. I think the crazy thing to think about is we created this cult following. I was my own celebrity in my own company. I had no idea. I would go to events, and these are people who have given me millions of dollars. I would go to events and people were so scared to talk to me. People would be like, "Can we get a picture?" Or that's Chris. That's, you know. My directors would always say it's like a celebrity walked into the room and people were just in shock. The reason we have coffee mugs is because people, and t-shirts and stuff, is because people wanted that. People are like, we want to wear, or we want to drink, or we want to have things that say Goliath on them. So we developed swag. And people loved it. People loved our swag. People loved the brand. It was just such a crazy culture that we had built and a following of people. I mean, you don't have that at Fidelity, or you don't have that at, Goldman Sachs or any of these big companies.
No, you don't. At any point, could people pull their money out?
Happen all the time.
How did that work?
They would send an email to their director and to our accountant, Nadia, at the time. We would issue them a termination agreement, and then within 48 hours, they would receive their money.
So was there ever pressure, like if you pull X, if you pull Y?
The only thing that we would counter is if people would take a distribution and then pull their money out immediately. They were taking advantage of a system. So we would either tell them they can have their distribution and keep their money in, or they can get their money back and forfeit their distribution.
Because you needed them to keep the money in.
We also didn't want people putting in money, taking a distribution, pulling their money out. We didn't want to play that game. And so that was really the only pressure that we would give people, is that we're not here to play a game. Mm-hmm. Either keep your money in and take your distribution, or pull all your money out.
How long did you expect that people would keep their money in?
I mean, we had like a 99% retention. We had people in there, a lot of the people were in there since the beginning. Taking a distribution, pulling some of their principal out because they're buying a house or doing whatever that they were doing, and then money would come in, they'd put more money in. We never had a liquidity issue until October of 25.
When everything got frozen.
Money was getting frozen. Investors were seeing all the stuff online. Mm-hmm. Panic set in.
So I'm not going to use the name, and I don't want you to either, but you'll recall one day last week we had a conversation about someone who works in the media whose husband invested. And I'm using this as an example, not to focus on them. When you mentioned that they got their money or they made their money, what did you mean? How did those types of people, I'm using them as an example, but I'm trying to get to understand how many people, how many investors were similarly situated as them, where they, as you said, they got their money back. Or was that true? Because now we're in truth.
No.
Yeah, think about because I want to try to understand how those people, who however many there are, how did they get their money back and then are now not at a loss?
So I think there's two-part answer to your question.
Okay.
When I say people had made money, they gotten their money back, it's because they had been in the fund for so long that they had already made money back on their principal amount.
Got it.
So I wasn't concerned at this point returning anyone's principal, because if you had 100 grand with us, but you'd been in for 2-3 years, you've made way more money than your 100K.
How much do you think?
I mean, if they were in the early days, you're making 6-7%. So you're making $7,000 a month.
Okay.
Let's call it for 2 years. So for 24 months, it's a big number. Mm-hmm. So when I look at that and people, are saying that they didn't get their money back, well, you did. How you chose to spend that is your problem. But you did get your money back. Now, maybe we didn't do our part in returning your principal, but we were also dealing with the liquidity crisis at this point.
When you're referring to the principal, you're talking about the 100.
The original 100K,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I believe in September of 25, we issued over 40 termination agreements. And we paid every single one. That ranged from 100K to one of our bigger ones, I think, was like 1.7 million. Followed by October distribution and termination agreements, which I think we did maybe 20 or 25. Between September of 25 and October of 25, we had issued over $70 million out of the company.
Was that because of the termination
Big part of it was
Okay.
because of the termination, yeah.
What sparked the termination letters?
All the online media.
So they reached out and said, I want out.
I didn't know I had someone or a group of people in Orlando spreading everything on the media. And it took legs. We were receiving so many termination agreements because all the articles online and what was being produced online. I didn't know I had people in Orlando that were taking those articles and then spreading them like wildfire. That's what was prompting everyone to pull their money out.
Got it. So I just did the math because I'm not good at it. So if I had put in 100,000 and I stayed with this for 2 years, in September I would have gotten like 168,000. So that's when you say they got their money back. It's because not the principal.
However you want to look at it,
Yeah.
they either made $68,000
Right.
or they got $168,000 in
Got
pay
it. Okay.
and forfeited their 100K.
Now I understand. But in their mind, they're like, well, really, I should have got 268.
Correct.
Got it. See, I'm getting. And then. Tell me about these doctors. What more do you know about them? Because it sounds similar to what had been done before.
Well, it was. I just didn't know it was.
Were these doctors? Are they all over the country or Lake County?
No, I mean, Orange County and
Central Florida.
Central Florida.
Do you need to get that?
No, it's not ringing.
So the SEC kind of threw you a lifeline yesterday.
Well, it's not final yet, but yeah, we hope to settle with the SEC here soon and get that part behind us.
Does that hurt or help?
I think it helps. I think it helps a lot. Their terms of settlement and their agreements with us.
Who's John Whitley?
He's an investor.
Oh, so he would. So that's why when I see, because I was sitting here looking at this, trying to figure out why did I print this, but that was why. So that's why when I look at the agreements and I see those names, those are the investors viewing it.
Correct.
I think I have to digest this day.
Yeah, there's a lot of information dumping.
Yeah, that was a lot. What did you ask me for yesterday?
It was the surveillance. But
Oh
you
yeah,
already
I
asked
did
me,
ask
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever I have, I can send you. Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna do the hard drive thing again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't text it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were asking me for some picture. Oh, from your childhood. Do you have an In-N-Out burger, like that kind
When
of
you were
stuff?
talking about your first job and stuff like that, you got any pictures from?
I can look. I'll look and see what I have. I do have an old picture of you. It wasn't from In-N-Out, but I don't know if it's on there.
I didn't think I'd ever see you again. It was like you went into the vapor.
I got my ass handed to me.
Wow.
All right, we're good.
First and last name.
Chris Delgado.
And who are you?
I'm the former CEO of Goliath Ventures.
I'm just going to cut right to it. Are you ready to take responsibility?
That was the whole point of this, was not only to show people and to tell people, you know, from beginning to end what had happened, but to allow me to tell them directly from me how sorry I am, how they put their trust in me and I failed them. At the end of the day, I failed. And, you know, I can blame this factor, that factor, that factor, but at the end of the day, I was the CEO.
Other than that, what do you say to people who lost their life savings trusting you and investing in Goliath Ventures?
I mean, there's nothing that I can tell them besides how deeply I regret and how sorry I am on how this unfolded. It was never meant to be that. We started out this company wanting to impact our friends and our family. And we grew so fast, and we weren't ready for a lot of factors we weren't ready for. And that's not their fault, that is our fault. Our company, my company, failed them.
No one is going to believe that, and here's why. You know, You're telling me that you plan to invest their money, but there were delays and delays and delays in starting your fund. So in theory, their money should have just been sitting in an account. So what happened?
We were utilizing MLP.
No, what happened to their money that should have been sitting in an account?
Their money was being used to make distributions
To who?
to either them or other investors.
And what else did you use the money for?
I mean, we used it for corporate events. We used it for personal spend. We used their funds to keep the company going.
When you think about that, what you just said, how do you feel?
These last 5 months that I've been on home confinement have been the most gut-wrenching 5 months of my life. Every night I go to bed, or every second of the day, I remember people that I came across, people that I met at our events or other events. And I get so sick to my stomach that I failed these people.
Some of them would say you stole from them.
I think this goes back into the intent and how this company started. Our intent was never supposed to be this. What Goliath was today wasn't Goliath when it started. It was just friends investing along each other, family investing along each other, and it was working. And yes, when things started falling apart, we should have stopped. And I wish we would have stopped.
At some point when you realized you were using other people's money to live a certain lifestyle or to pay employees or to host events, was there any regret?
Oh, 100%. When we had hosted not our last Christmas party, but the one before, the only thing, I was miserable that whole event. The only thing I could think of was, how do we turn this around? How do we go into 2025 and how do we turn this around? It's why I immediately flew back to Dubai after that event. I was trying to get us on the right track, and like I said, I'm sorry, and I deeply regret these positions that I put these families in. And in 2025, I should have stopped everything.
I want to read you two things. Well, let me ask you this first. Let's assume you're going to prison. What do you have to give these victims to make them whole or partially whole through the form of restitution?
They have to know that I fully went into this committed. I came and self-surrendered. I came to take full responsibility for my actions. I came to give them the answers they need. And in doing so, I have turned over everything. I notified the DOJ of my international accounts and surrendered those accounts willingly over. So those funds and my crypto, so that money can go back to our victims. And any question that they had, was this bag or was this item personal? Did you buy it personally? I said, just take it. Just take it.
How much is there?
I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but it's been a couple $1 million that we have handed over so far.
A long way from 300 million. So they're never getting their money back.
I am doing my best to make sure that restitution is going to be paid in full. And to your point, assuming I'm going to prison when I come out will be my life's goal, because I don't fail. I haven't failed at anything in my life. I haven't let people down. My family depends on me. My parents depend on me. My brothers depend on me. My community depended on me. And this was the first time in my life that I failed. And not only failed in my job, but I failed the people that were the most dependent on me.
I'm going to read you something that was sent to me. And it is from one of your victims. And just give me a moment to pull this up. I don't want to show their name, Carrie, but okay, we'll have to block it out. So they invested $500,000. Wife retired, husband still working. They thought that they could live in part off of the returns each month. Their house is in foreclosure now. Another one of your victims tells me that they took a line of credit out of their home to invest with Goliath. Another one, their life savings out of their retirement account. They have nothing. What do you say to these people?
That I'm going to give it my all to make them whole. That is now my life's work. That is now my life's mission, is to make these people whole. And that started by me willingly coming back to the United States to take responsibility and to apologize to them directly. And I understand an apology is not going to pay their bills, or apology is not, but now my life's mission and my life's goal is to get their life back on track.
One of them will never get to see that happen because we're told they committed suicide recently.
I was unaware of that.
That's the damage done.
I know there is nothing that I can say right now to these families. And I know I've broken their trust. But they need to know that I am taking this seriously, and that every fiber in my being is going to make it work, is going to make them whole. That's why I'm here.
Anything else?
I just hope that they understand now more. And that some of them, I know all of them won't have closure. I know a lot of people will have more questions. But I want them to know that I am doing everything in my power to give them the answers that they need and to make them as whole as possible.
Firefighters, nurses, doctors, just everyday people. Yeah.
It's my fault for not being in those conversations or pushing the team more. I was the CEO.
That's an apology. That's taking responsibility.
Say that they have the feds knocking on the door.
Yeah,
That-
they've all received subpoenas now, and
That was the first. That was the first comment that the DOJ made to me: is everyone that's going to come sit at this table is just going to point the finger at you. I said, I know that, but that same person pointing the finger was making $1 million a month.
do you think he'll just plead guilty and just take whatever deal that can be negotiated?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, you don't want this to go to trial.
No.
I mean,
No.
that would be...
There's no reason to go to trial. I'm not sitting here saying I'm innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I am saying, though, I had the right intention. I was putting the money up front.
You think those people in Dubai just duped you all along to get you, to get
It's
people?
running now. It's up and running. It's producing. It's not producing what we thought it'd produce, but, you know.
Not 8% or
No,
5%.
but let me show you a message.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have that. I have that. Yeah. Wow.
You're
Do you want
saying
us to step back down, Carrie?
No, we're
Okay, yeah, I think we have a lot.
failed them. At the end of the day, I failed. And, you know, I can blame this factor, that factor, but at the end of the day, I was the CEO.
Other than that, what do you say to people who lost their life savings trusting you and investing in Goliath Ventures?
I mean, there's nothing